a wild week in professional wrestling. A lot of great stuff. And a lot of awful stuff. And we're going to go into it as usual, because why the fuck would we ever stop doing what we do with the weekly wrestling and the troubles that entail? And I mean, there are a lot of troubles. And it is a multi-company, affected. It's a wild time right now. And it always is kind of a wild time, because it's that little, what is it? Buffer period, I would say, between, Survivor Series, which just happened, and we'll get into that. And believe me, it'll probably be a quicker conversation than you expect. And of course the Royal Rumble, and now Mr. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, in all his fucking vast wisdom, has now pushed the Royal Rumble back to February. First time ever the Royal Rumble will be in February, I believe. I don't think the first one was in February. I think they've always been in January. Either way, not that that's a big deal. It is February 1st, after all. Then again, he did the same thing to WrestleMania. This year, WrestleMania is on 4/20, which is funny, in Vegas. I mean, I think it's interesting, because when I think of wrestling as a whole, I think it is very, very entrenched in, just tradition. I mean, most of the things you see in wrestling have been going on for a very, very long time. And that's because, either they work or people perceive that they work. That's kind of the other thing. It's a very superstitious business as well. I'll say that. Wrestling is one of those things that, a lot like football, it takes a long fucking time for things to change. And in that, when they change, people freak the fuck out. And that's one of the things, right? That when you move things around, people freak out. I'll tell you right now. And a fucking AEW did it too. They're doing Forbidden Door in August next year, All In June. Or actually, I think it's July. So they're messing. Everyone's trying. I mean, let's be real. In the grand scheme of the world, shit sucks. And wrestling is in a downturn, just like everything else on the planet Earth right now. The economy's awful. And so these companies are trying to figure out things to do to get us to spend our money on them. Hey, listen, that's their MO. That's their job. It's also our job to go, hey, is that worth my money? If not, fuck you. And I'm a big believer in that. So to that point, like I said, Survivor Series, might as well rip the Band-Aid off now. I'll say it right now. And I wrote them down. These are legitimately the fucking stupid notifications. Why don't I just do the thing, right? Why don't I just do not disturb, right? Why would I fuck around here? This is you people. This is the audience. This is the populace I'm speaking to here. You deserve my full attention. Now you got it. All right. This is literally not even, I can't even call this a paragraph. Technically, this is one horrid run-on sentence I wrote. This is exactly my highlights of WWF Survivor Series 2024 in Vancouver, British Columbia. It happened, and the best parts were Shinsuke winning the U.S. title again as a Sith. Amazing. Gunther and Priest having another classic match. However, Finn Balor just fucked Priest out of the title again. It's literally felt like I was watching a literal carbon copy of the SummerSlam finish. So that was fucking bizarre. And really the biggest highlight, and that's why she made it on the thumbnail, is Rhea fucking Ripley destroying Liv Morgan through a table. That was great. Everything else, I think I had people at my job trying to talk to me about the men's fucking War Games match being, oh, I think it's one of the best ones they've ever done. And I'm sitting here like, what did they even do outside of like Bronson Reed snapping his fucking ankle for no reason, taking a fucking, doing a splash off the cage. Jimmy Uso broke his toe doing whatever. And literally a bunch of standing around by Roman and the old man. Okay, that's the best fucking WWE War Games? My God. That doesn't even stack up to any of the AEW Blood and Guts matches. I will go out and say it. I think people don't get this. You know, they are very blinded by the media fucking chokehold that WWE's brand has. It's not even their current shit, right? And it's gone on for really decades, to be honest. And I noticed it in high school because, you know, I'm an old man when it comes to wrestling. I feel like I'm a fucking old man. Thank God I've started to talk to a lot of awesome people in the Sickos Club, shout out, of course, that are somehow older than me or my age, and it fucks with me. That's a beautiful thing because it always, especially on social media, always feels fucking weird when, like, you know, these young fans are so just taken by things that are so shit. It's like, dude, Roman's just Hogan again. You're falling for that? I mean, Roman's 100 times better, but I'm just saying as a character, like when I look back on how Hogan was treated and protected and all that shit, that's just the same exact thing they're doing with Roman. Not that Roman doesn't deserve credit. It's just, I mean, outside of that, he did fuck all, and it's not his fault. He shouldn't have to do anything. He's over. I get it. But when you promote a War Games and you don't fucking give us War Games, and this is the other thing, you know, kids don't remember War Games, you know, even in the shittiest time of WCW's history. I'm talking 92. 90 fucking 1, 95 even was better than fucking this to me, and I'm not joking. 96, of course, amazing. You know, that's how you fucking do a multi-man cage. You gotta have enough violence for it to be worth it. I don't think it was really worth it here. It you know, and this is what WWE does too. And when people want to argue, well, what about the fucking tables and this and that? Dude, they're doing like kiddie shit. You know what I mean? Everything's got a fucking, a little fucking rubber mat on it. You know, everything. I wouldn't be shocked if they were like, oh man, those steel steps, they're just like shitty plastic. Like, it looks like a fucking McDonald's playpen that these wrestlers wrestle in. Like, my God, the Elimination Chamber's literally just a bouncy ball fucking house. Are you kidding me? So again, it's hard when I look at, I literally see on the top of these fucking cages the little mark for them to jump off of. It's like, brother, what happened to suspending disbelief? You know, WWE kind of went out the window with that a long time ago with a lot of their shit. They're like, listen, we're going to make it real obvious our tables look like no table you can ever buy in a store. All right. And that's because it's made of like fucking plywood doubled or something. You know what I mean? That to me is lame. I thought it fucking sucked. I'm not interested at all in this Roman old man shit we're probably going to get at WrestleMania. I just, you know, and a lot of you listening, of course, this is going to be, you know, it's always a heavily AEW show, but I always try to say, I'm not going to be that guy that doesn't talk about everything. I even feel bad not talking about the indies in Japan. I want to fucking do more of that, to be honest. I want to do more Noah breakdowns. I want to do more New Japan breakdowns. Fucking All Japan. I saw the other day the match where Davey Boy Smith Jr. just won the Triple Crown Championship from, I believe his name is Yumi Aogi. You know, I want to talk about everything. So I feel like it'd be fucking disingenuous for me to not mention when WWE does things. However, I am kind of, I guess in the majority for once, it feels like, at least in a lot of the parts of social media where everyone's just sort of waking up that WWE's just a fucking brand name, man. It's not good. It's not just inherently good because you watched it your whole life. And the other thing is a lot of people either have just gotten into wrestling at a later age or they don't remember WCW and ECW. They don't understand that this is not the norm. The norm isn't having nothing but one fucking company your whole life. That's not normal, dude. Like, I grew up with everything, and I was very fortunate. You know, again, I don't want to come off preachy like I'm an old man and it was better when I was a kid, although it was, by the way. It just actually was better when I was a kid. The only thing we didn't have going for us was the distribution system that the internet makes so much better these days. And that's why it feels like there's more wrestling. There's not. There's always been a shit ton of wrestling. I think now it's more accessible, and I think the quality of the wrestling is much higher now than it ever was. Oh my God. I think about some of those ECW shows. I'm like, fuck, they were terrible, you know? Because I mean, everyone's on fucking drugs, and you know, back then it was just about doing a blade job. Shoutouts, I blade daily. Anyway, yeah, I thought Survivor Series pretty much fucking sucked. Again, Rhea, you know, the sooner that WWE realizes Rhea Ripley is their number one star, period, that gender is not involved here. Once you understand, you need to galvanize your entire company around Rhea fucking Ripley, literally, because Cody is whatever, you know, people like him and that's fine. He ain't Rhea Ripley right now. She is fucking over. It's unbelievable. Also, again, you know, Shinsuke win the U.S. title. Awesome. Great. Please let it be something, though. That's the problem with Shinsuke. He never gets a fucking fair shake, and it's really a shame because he's awesome. He's always been awesome. Speaking of awesome, holy shit, let's get into some AEW talk because they are the talk of the town right now with the second annual Continental Classic. The C2 is underway. Week 1 is over. And right now, here are your standings. In the Gold League, your leaders, three-way tie. Again, you know, first week, but I like it. Brody King, Claudio Castagnoli, and Will Ospreay, the only men to have points yet in the Gold League. Of course, that means Darby Allin and Ricochet, no wins. And let's get into it. My God, he's the Force Ghost on the thumbnail of the show this week, and there's a reason. Poor old Juice Robinson, man. This guy, I feel like he has gotten some of the worst luck over the last year of anybody in the history of this business. Brother was hitting on all cylinders with the fucking, you know, Collision Cowboys thing. The Bang Bang Gang was in full force, and he was having great matches. Has a severe back injury, has to have surgery, out for like fucking ever. He just came back earlier in the year, like middle of the year, has been having great matches. He just had a fucking banger with Butcher on Rampage. And in the first night of the damn tournament, he fucks his leg up really bad. I finally saw it. Somebody isolated it. It's gross. He's out. But in his wake comes, perhaps is he the hero that we all need? Everyone talking lately that AEW needs a hero to beat the Death Riders and take the title from Jon Moxley. Could it, by God, be Commander, the alternate that has come in for Juice Robinson? We will find out. We will find out very soon. The Blue League, however, still intact for now. God, knock on wood. Knock on fucking wood. And your leaders, two-way tie here. Blue League's already got shenanigans. I like it because it kind of, you know, again, same thing last year, actually. Blue League was the funky one. Actually, no, I think it was the Gold League that ended up being the three-way. What the fuck ever. Your two leaders, Kyle Fletcher, riding that wave of momentum after killing Will Ospreay at Full Gear. And, of course, Shelton X Benjamin, the other man with 3. And then it comes down to another tie at second, though, because of old Daniel Garcia and Kachuka. I always say his fucking name wrong, and I feel bad. I think it's Kazuchika, actually. Kazuchika Okada and Daniel Garcia had a draw on Collision, and I loved it. I really like that. That's, you know, I think there should be more draws. I think if you look at real sports, there are more draws. I think it lends itself to, you can have these great matches and build things and make it fucking matter. So I like that. And then at the bottom, Just as I expected, the Beast Mortos and Mark Briscoe with the nil in the blue. That leads us to tonight's show, because I'm recording this early today. This is coming out hot. You guys are listening to this just about an hour or so after I record it. You guys are getting fresh fucking content. I'm sure it's phenomenal. We already are getting into the thick of the Continental Classic. We got only 2 Continental Classic matches because we got a lot of storyline driven wrestling tonight. Something everyone wants to say AEW's bad at. Well, they're gonna, come at bat here when it comes to the storyline based wrestling. But for the Continental Classic action, can't think of 2 more banger fucking matches to put on a show. It starts with, again, the leaders. Somebody's gonna really break out of the pack here, because somebody will take the Blue League definitive lead tonight, because Shelton, by God Benjamin, takes on Kyle Fletcher. Holy shit. Unbelievable match. I can't even call that. I think probably, again, I can't call it. I can't fucking call it. I've already fucked up, by the way. Anyone wants to go back to that fucking C2 preview show, believe me, I wasn't right. I wasn't right. Brody King and Claudio Castagnoli over in the Gold League for the other C2 match. Holy shit. This is great. And I would love, you know what? Here, I'll call this one. I would love Brody King to win this. I think another shout out, Brett Michelle, who was the guest co-host for Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out for the latest episode, said, and I think perfectly, Brody King's got to have a singles title by the end of next year. I think it's time to really take him serious as a single star. He's been hovering. He had such a great showing last year in the Continental Classic. I think it's time, and I agree with that. We got, Hurt Syndicate adjacent action. Swerve Strickland goes one-on-one with Max Caster. I would love it. Again, another shout out, the All Elite Wrap-Up guys who have been all about, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens. This has to break, and it's got to be Hurt Syndicate related. I agree. I think Max Caster would be great in that role. He could be a great shit talker that can eat some pins, but he's still got credibility, get some wins as well. But he would be a great mid-card guy for that group. And again, I go back to the Raven's Nest philosophy of stables, where, you have your hierarchy. And for Hurt Syndicate, it's simple. Number 1 is Bobby Lashley at the top. Shelton Benjamin right under him as the lieutenant kind of killer guy, because he's the technical wrestler. He can really carry the matches. Obviously, MVP's the Carnival Barker. And then you could have, and even Bobby Lashley let it slip. You need a high flyer. I think Ricochet would be great as that part. But then you can have the little shit-talking guy that gets his ass kicked. And I think that's important to a group. You need a guy that eats pins so that in the event that the baby faces need that comeback, you can be the comeback. And the guys up top don't have to lose all these wins. I think Max Caster would be perfect for that. Perhaps tonight we see the implosion of the Acclaimed. Another big match with women's storyline implication. Anna Jay taking on Penelope Ford. There's a bit of a history here from the old days, the old Daily's Place days. I think Anna Jay, though, she's got to take this, right? I mean, she has improved leaps and bounds. She just lost the chance to challenge Mariah May again. So I think you got to keep her strong. I mean, Penelope just came back. She can eat some wins, get that redemption arc going. Right now, it's just about having her in the ring. She's got to get better. And then, of course, we hear from Jamie Hayter, who's, getting stalked a little bit by old Julia Hart. Could we see, finally, in the flesh, Julia Hart come back? Maybe fucking, just say fuck it and do the whole Archer gimmick and just shoot her. I mean, hey, it's 2024, right? If I can just shoot her with a bow and arrow. I don't think that's going to happen, but man, how crazy would that be? And a big one. And I forgot. Jesus, this thing's loaded. I was like, my God, there's so much going on. Well, you know what? We're going to save that one. We're going to go with the match that I think will be kind of like the centerpiece match work rate wise. And that is Pac, 1/3 of the Trios champions, part of the Death Riders, taking on Switch King, Switchblade Jay White. This is going to be amazing. I can't think of a time they've ever wrestled each other one-on-one. This might be the first time ever. I am very excited for this match. I think Jay White does need to win this match if they're really going to continue to push him as a main event threat to Jon Moxley's title. Because, I mean, if he's going to World's End and he's going to be in that match for the championship, regardless of if the rumor of a 4-way is true or whatever, he's got to be going through these guys. And also, isn't that kind of the point of the Death Riders, right? They're supposed to be there so that you go through the gauntlet to get to Moxley. I like that. I think it happens tonight. Jay White wins the match. And that leads us to what probably will be the main event. The sixth, not annual, I guess it would be the 6th Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal. And all we know is, of course, MJF defending that ring. He's never lost it. That's a very underrated thing AEW has done. This whole, like, he's the guy in the ring. It's become his thing, and I like that. But I do believe tonight is not going to be his night, because on the other side is Adam Cole, who announced his entrance, and immediately, because we've got some drama, some Vanderpump Rules style fucking drama between old Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole here. A lot of hate being thrown, a lot of shade being thrown. So those are the 3 names we know for a fact. And again, I feel like something's got to give tonight. Somebody's getting fucked over, and I don't know who it is. I'll tell you this, MJF ain't winning that fucking ring, because for one, he doesn't need it. And it'd be a fun change of pace. I think Adam Cole wins it when he fucks over Kyle O'Reilly. And Kyle O'Reilly's been looking like the crazy guy here, like, I don't fucking trust you, man, and he will be proven right. Or what if old Adam Cole does the ultimate heel move and helps MJF keep the fucking ring by screwing Kyle O'Reilly? We don't know. There's so many parts, and we don't know who all is in this motherfucker. Of course, there will be your pin eaters in this thing. It's not going to be all superstars, but AEW has a good reputation of showing, in moments that you would expect it to be that way, nothing but banger fucking guys in a match like that. So we will find out. That is huge. That is tonight, but we're going to move on because we are speeding through, man. I'm speeding through. This is crazy. I'm not mad about sub fucking hour podcasts. My wife really, shout out to her. She was like the first person when I first started doing shows with her, like just doing shows around her. She was like, why do you like always go over an hour? And at the time, we're talking like the mid 2010s. The thing was the fucking marathon podcast, because the idea at that time was, well, what about people with commutes? It's something for them to listen to, or people that listen at work. And that's a valid point, right? Like, to be honest, a lot of times when I've worked at jobs, I'll fucking, I'll put on like the classic 5-hour like YouTube marathon of something, right? Just to have in the background. But I also realized that people's attention spans are way fucking smaller than they've ever been. So they don't want to fucking hear that all the time. They like that in certain points, right? But I think of it like this. There are already 5 million fucking wrestling podcasts. So what am I going to do for an hour that you haven't heard? I feel like, if anything, this is just my little like fucking audio diary of the shit I'm seeing on my television every week. That's kind of how I view it, especially lately. And with that said, we're going to move on to Rampage. Who'd have thunk? Also, a little fucking news segment, I guess, would be the announcement that Rampage will be phased out going into 2025. And we all kind of were wondering what is going to happen with Rampage, because all the conversation was about, obviously, the media rights deal with Warner and AEW and what that was going to mean for various things. And, everyone was like, well, Rampage just does not seem like it's worth it. Would they pay for that? Right. And then the rumors became that, it's going to be, or I don't really know if it was rumors necessarily, but I think that, I even at one point was like, well, why don't they put ROH in the Rampage slot, right? And then the whole thing came out that, well, Warner's kind of low on that because they didn't pay for, fucking corporate dog shit is all it is. My point being is this. Kudos to AEW for not doing the thing that every other major wrestling company has done, and that is just fucking run an IP into the ground. I think about those old Thunders, and I'm like, why did they do them? Why did they fucking do them? They were not in the position to do Thunder in 2001. They should have just cut fucking bait. But again, when you have a contract, you have a contract. So I'm honestly glad. And what a perfect way to take out Rampage, to do these Continental Classic matches, and also that it'll be the Hammerstein, that it goes away. I love that. And it's a new era for AEW, right? They're going to be on Max going forward. I think that the pressure to have content on TV is gone because now you got two avenues. So that's big. And again, I think TK legitimately deserves credit for this, that he's not just letting Rampage die a slow death like WWE did with Heat or WCW did with Saturday Night. They're like, no, let's fucking give them a badass, show to end this thing. And he's doing it because the first Rampage of December has Continental Classic action all over it. Ricochet taking on Commander and Commander's first C2 match. And I think this is Ricochet's big win in the Gold League. Make him feel credible. Make him maybe even cocky like he was going into the company. And then again, maybe he realizes he needs a little bit of help. What if Commander gets the big upset here and old Ricochet? He might take that business card out. Give a little ringsy. Then we got both the Continental Champion and the TNT Champion in separate action. Of course, Daniel Garcia taking on the Beast Mortos. Always amazing when those two are in the ring. And Mark Briscoe taking on Okada. Love it. Love it. Rampage is going to be must-see TV Friday night. And so far, from what I've seen, a lot of you people are nuts, so you got the inside fucking scoop that I don't have sometimes. But the only Collision match I know of so far announced is a fucking banger of bangers. It's Mina Shirakawa taking on Emi Sakura. Holy shit. That is a wonderful match. We are getting spoiled on Saturday night, and it's, I love it because Collision is back at its regular time. Same with Rampage. We're going back to normal. Because I will say this, it doesn't bother me so much. It's the internet age. Sometimes when people bitch about, well, the time changed, fucking look it up, dude. If you really care about watching a TV show and you're not just watching to hate, you would look it up. I mean, and also, this is not a new thing in wrestling, the preemption shit. This happens constantly. I can't tell you how many weeks in a row I've been pissed off because Raw or Nitro were preempted. Fucking it always happens. Wrestling will not be the priority to a television network ever because there's shit like fucking hockey and real quote unquote sports. And these networks look at it that way, period. So getting mad about shit like that is dumb, but it's nice when it comes back to form. I think this Mina Shirakawa Emi Sakura match will fucking blow people's minds. I think people forget how good Emi Sakura is. It's crazy though, because her whole AEW career has been show up for like a week or two, put on bangers, put over all these women, and then leave. And then everyone's like, oh wow, she's like the work rate ghost. She's like, you know, if someone sucks or someone needs to get over, throw Emi Sakura in there with them. She'll get them over $1,000,000, look great, and then everyone forgets Emi Sakura. That's how good she is. She's so good you don't notice her. But I wish she would just finally. She did have that one women's world title match with Sheeta, I believe, at Full Gear one year, and that was great. But you know, she's an older wrestler, and I guess, you know, that's part of this business. Sometimes, you know, that's, if you're lucky enough, Jericho, you get to an age in your career where you can put the young guy or girl over. And Emi Sakura got the fucking message. So I'll throw that out there. And also Mina Shirakawa. Oh my God, we all love her. I mean, my God, if you don't love her because she's attractive, you love her because she's a great wrestler. And that's why it works. So, I'm trying to think of anything else there is to talk about. I did see a really good match between Luke Jacobs and Manders from GCW. And I am new to Luke Jacobs. I used to be super into the UK indie thing when that really blew up back in the day. When was that? Like 2014, 2015, something like that. And for whatever reason, throughout, you know, time and I think AEW existing and then it being more weekly wrestling for me to watch, you know, things get sacrificed. It's like I just recently tried to get into the TNA fucking bubble again, but, you know, TNA is classic TNA. So sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I can't stand this garbage. You know, it is what it is, right? It's pro wrestling. So that was good. Oh, of course, the GCW Ricky Starks drama. Well, I mean, I'll say this. My opinion on that is very simple. I think Effie's an idiot. and not even that I think he's an idiot for what he said. Because honestly, I don't think that. I think this. I think at the end of the day, everyone involved is being a fucking idiot for this reason. Everyone has forgotten how to make real shit an angle. And for you to do that, you got to put your fucking ego aside. And I think the problem with Tony Khan, the problem with Effie, I will even say, and I will even say the problem with Ricky Starks, based on what I've heard about his deal, no one will just put their ego aside. Nobody will be the smaller man in the eyes of the fucking guys and the fucking fans, i.e. us, enough to go, you know, like, and again, and I hate to put him over, I really do, and say Voldemort's name here, but that was the one thing that the evil man from WWE was good at. He literally knew how to manipulate public opinion, good or bad, into fucking wrestling. You know, we always at least got entertaining fucking TV out of his bullshit. And this isn't even that severe. Like, okay, so Effie said that he thinks AEW is undermining GCW. Why not make that an angle? Why not do the fucking USWA 92 gimmick where you come out in a fucking suit with the GCW belt on? Why not like have Matt Cardona sign with AEW, quote unquote, even if you don't want to do that, and it is just on a silver platter. And sometimes with wrestling, especially in a time right now where the business is down, and it's not even that it's down, it's the world's business is down, right? The economy's low. Your attendance isn't what it used to be. If you're Tony Khan, maybe a silly angle with a fucking indie might actually get people to come to your show. Well, that, and if you didn't work with Ticketmaster and you lowered your fucking ticket prices because it's ridiculous. But that's neither here nor there. My point is, you know, Effie's an idiot because he didn't understand that Tony, I'll say this, he should have got with Tony, right? But I know why you didn't. It's not like he has Tony Khan's fucking cell phone number. I understand. I think the whole thing is just no one will communicate with anybody. And Brett Lauderdale came out and said that I don't fucking talk to TK. He lets me use his talent, but that's it. Well, there needs to be communication. I understand people are busy, but if you want things to be really good, you got to really focus on the details. And I think sometimes with TK, he's very insular in his, and I understand you got a tournament to book, all this shit going on, but brother, you got to delegate then. If you can't do it all and do it at a high level and not have these weird public relation nightmares where you fucking come off looking like the evil douche boss, because I don't think he is. I don't. But that is how people are taking this. And it's hard to like argue. It's like Ricky Starks is sitting at home. Why? I mean, fuck, either let the guy go. I hate this fucking trend. And WWE did it before anybody. So it is not an AEW knock at all. But I don't like the trend in wrestling where companies think it's acceptable to let a guy sit on a contract if he's healthy. I think that's ridiculous. If you're not going to use the guy, work out a release, do something. I mean, and that was the difference with back in the day. Like, that was the territory staple. Like, hey, we got nothing for you here. You got heat, but, you know, let's get you to another territory. Let's open you up, you know. Why is that not acceptable anymore? Sometimes I'm like, fuck, man, decency in any way is just going away, and it sucks, you know, because regardless of what you think of Ricky Starks, the guy's a young guy and he is a talent. And if he fucking wants to go to NXT, fuck it, let him go to NXT. Let him go fucking have bangers there. Same with fucking this Penta and Ray shit. Like, come on, dude. Add time because of injury. For what? You're not even using the guy. Like, sometimes I'm like, Tony, I get it's a business, but you need to at least make it look less like a business when it comes to this shit. You know? It just comes off very to me. I don't like it. So, and again, you know, it blows that fucking a really good angle, because I did see the angle where he showed up at the mall. They were doing a cool little, you know, ode to the first Nitro, and they were doing a show at the mall, and fucking Ricky Starks shows up on the escalator. It's a fucking great angle. Good promo for nothing. It's like, fuck, really? Got to see the forest through the trees sometimes, but whatever. What do I know, right? Either way, that is what I think about the wrestling world as we know it, as of right now. And until next time, just go watch some wrestling. Fucking, you know, and also don't be a dick to people. How about that? Don't learn from TK's mistakes. Don't be fucking shady. We love you, TK. But either way, you guys go have a great fucking week of wrestling, because you know that I will.